When I was 11, maybe 12, I was hanging out at my friend's place, and she usually watched her mother's shop while her mom made sure the house was okay when she went to the market or whatever. So she and I were at her mom's shop because didn't have anything else to do. And her grandmom shows up, and I loved my grandmom. So by default, I loved everybody's grandmom, and I just assumed that she was cool because my grandmom was cool. Anyhow, after I greet the grandmom, the first thing she says after she takes a good look at me is, "Don't grow too tall, oh, you won't see husband to marry." Mind you, her granddaughter and I were the same height, so I have no idea why she would say this to me but not say this to her granddaughter. Also, the granddaughter had an older brother who was much taller than the both of us, meaning that height ran in their family. So there was a good chance that she was going to continue growing taller. Again, I'm not sure why she said that to me and not to her granddaughter, but that's what she said. Mind you, at this point, I'm like between 11 and 13, so I don't even have breasts. Like, I'm just tall, skinny. I have no idea why she would say this to me. But then I see a creator on my For You page, and she's talking about how when she was at church at 10, she was having a conversation with her friend, and she said she hates the soup. The smell of it makes her gag, and so her mother makes sure that the soup doesn't come anywhere near their house. And an auntie at church turns around and tells her to never say that, never make that kind of statement, because she may be warding off husbands from her. And it is never about what you want. It's always about what your husband wants. Which again, I feel like is a crazy thing to say to a 10-year-old. Or anybody at all. But it definitely gave me perspective. And I feel like there's a lot of conversations around pick-me women, and there's a lot of banter around pick-me women. But I also feel like on some level, at some point, every single one of us was conditioned to believe, every single one of like black girls, girls in general, African girls, Nigerian girls, a lot of us were conditioned to believe that our life starts and stops because of a man, a hypothetical man that has not even shown up, that might pop in one day, but you've never really seen him. And a lot of us will step out of this conditioning faster than others, I believe. But at the same time, like, all of us who are conditioned, these very, very common conversations in our communities. Somebody posted a video of her grinding beans in a mortar, the most difficult way to make moi moi, and says that this is the correct way to do it, and there's no chemicals because she didn't use a blender or a grinding stone. And then somebody else in the comments is talking about how her dad says this is the correct way to do it and it's the sweetest way, and one thing or the other. Your life has already been made easier. A lot of people don't understand the concept of just enjoying the simpler things. And those will be the same people that will tell you that it's much easier to wash your clothes with hand, or it's better to wash your clothes with hand than it is to wash the washing machine. Your life has already been made easier, but you've been conditioned to believe that every single thing needs to revolve around proving your worth as a woman and a hypothetical man that you may meet. And a lot of people will break out of this conditioning. A lot of people will not. But I think that as a community, you cannot really say you love the girls if you're not cutting the girls some slack. Just because somebody hasn't broken out of the programming that almost every single one of us suffer does not mean that, like, they now must be penalized. You can give them space. You can remove yourself from that community, but you have to give slack. You cannot say you love all the girls, shout out all the girls, and be feminist. I support women if you cannot give girls slack for not breaking out as quickly as you did from the ways that their minds were conditioned to be dysfunctional or to not prioritize their own selves. I'm definitely aware of the privileges that I had, because I very much had a let's eat out if you didn't cook dad. Stand straighter, it's not your fault that you're taller than them, so exploit it, enjoy being taller than everybody, kind of dad, kind of family, kind of space. So it makes sense that those things didn't really weigh heavily on me, and I didn't really have as much people in my ear. My grandmom did it too because she was old-fashioned, but I didn't really have as much people in my ear constantly telling me all the ways that I needed to change my behavior in order to get a man. So it was definitely easier for me to step out of that programming. But a lot of people didn't have that, so let's cut the girl some slack, It's okay. I don't really understand why you still think that way, because isn't it more difficult? But, it's not my job to understand for you.